Welcome back to The Takeout. If you're keeping track at home, we are now 8 days into the government shutdown. No end in sight. Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford joins me now. Senator, I appreciate your time. Do you detect anything breaking on either side of the rank-and-file trenches that have been dug and are getting ever dug deeper in this shutdown?
No, it's been difficult on this. As I've said to a couple of people early on, shutdowns are like wars. They're easy to start, they're hard to stop, because once they're actually in a shutdown, and we're here now for over a week, now it becomes the what is it that changes that actually gets us out of this? The House is not in session. We have a continuing resolution that's clean in front of us. That was typical. The last 4 Septembers, we've been at this exact same moment before. A clean continuing resolution has come up. We've extended it so we could continue negotiations without having a shutdown. This year was very different, as obviously our Democratic colleagues determined they wanted to be able to be the resistance against Trump. And so now here we are. But it's tough to get out of it once you're in it.
What about external events, Senator, like TSA delays, meaning passengers just trying to get through security? That's slowed, that's gummed up because there are fewer personnel there. Air traffic control shortages, towers closed for an hour, 2 hours, sometimes longer. That's flight delays. These things, as I mentioned at the top of my show last night, are beginning to ripple through our national experience. Is that a forcing mechanism?
It is, and I actually had a good conversation with several of my Democratic colleagues even today to say, hey, we got to figure out how to be able to get out of this, because those real consequences are rippling through. Let me give you a couple examples. Air traffic control is not just important what's in the tower now, but who's coming to the tower. The Academy for Air Traffic Control, you have furloughs that are there, which means you don't have more air traffic controllers coming when we all know we have a backlog on that. It's critically important. E-Verify is down right now. For private employers trying to be able to hire people and go through the legal E-Verify process, they can't do that right now because that system is down. We now have furloughing of IRS agents, so people calling in from their business or personal just to be able to get advice from the IRS to be able to fill things out, can't do that right now. So this isn't just hurting government operations, it's hurting private operations in the economy, not to mention the fact that as of this week and this weekend, civilian employees won't be paid for the federal government, and as of next Wednesday, members of the military won't be paid. So this is all about how do we get the government back open so members of the military can be paid, civilians can be paid, and private businesses can go back to doing their job.
Senator, President Trump, whether he intended to or not, and I think he did intend to based on what he said, has injected some curiosity or some vulnerability into whether or not furloughed federal workers are going to be receiving back pay. There's a federal law that he signed in 2019 that guarantees that.
Right.
Are you certain that's going to happen, and do you disagree with the way the president's framed it?
No, federal employees will be paid. I think when you dig down into it, though, the challenge is every federal building and agency also has contract employees. They're sometimes doing food service or janitorial supplies or other things that are around that are ancillary to the functioning. Those are contractors that won't be paid. They never are during a shutdown time period because they're outside contractors. So this belief that everyone will just get back pay is not true on that and hasn't ever been true. Now, federal employees, they will get back pay whether they were sitting at home in furlough or working every day as TSA agents and FBI and ICE agents and other folks continue to be able to do. They'll still get paid, but those individual contractors will not, and their families will be hurt.
What's the atmosphere on the Hill today? There have been 2 pretty aggressive verbal clashes just this afternoon outside the Speaker's office with Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, and then Mike Lawler, a representative from New York, Republican, got into a verbal clash with Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader. These things are playing out on iPhones all over Capitol Hill. I'm sure they'll be viral by 6 p.m. tonight, if not sooner. What's the atmosphere like, Senator?
Yeah, it's frustrated because everybody's looking at everybody saying who's going to move on this, and the challenge we have is we literally cannot do what the Democrats are demanding to do. They're demanding some big health care debate come out. Their focus, of course, it has been for the past week to do $1.5 trillion of new spending on health care, on climate change initiatives, and all kinds of things that they poked in there. They have in their bill that they want EV vehicles to be able to drive in HOV lanes without having to have an extra person in it. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's in their demands. We've said this is all ridiculous. We're not going to talk about this right now. Let's just get the government open. Now they've come back and said, okay, what if we just negotiate the extra subsidies we did during COVID for just the COVID area subsidies? But there are lots of issues that are related to that. That's not just a simple extension as well. First of all, it's $450 billion they were looking for a 6-week extension of government funding. Second thing is they had unlimited subsidies because it was during COVID. So that means people making $500 million a year are getting health care subsidies on it. That's absurd. Yeah. I'm sorry, $500,000. You're right, not $500 million. But $500,000 a year are getting health care subsidies. That's ridiculous. They took away the $10 premium time and said it's just going to be zero premium, which has dramatically increased fraud in that program. So there's all kinds of issues that are there. They're saying just extend it. We're saying, well, it's not that simple to just say just extend the COVID area extra subsidy you put in. Number one, COVID's gone, lots of fraud. You're getting people with $500,000 of income, extra subsidies. We're not going to do that. And so this demand that they're looking for is a quick negotiation is absurd. Literally, they're trying to get for a few million people, maybe up to 20 million people in our population to get subsidies. But then you've got federal workers and their families and members of the military and their family. They're not getting paid. They're the ones that are actually suffering the consequences of it. So we got to be able to get the government open. That's been the typical route that we've always done in this. So there is some frustration here to say, hey, people are legitimately getting hurt here in the process. Let's get this open.
Senator James Lankford, Republican, Oklahoma. Appreciate the time, sir. Thank you.
You bet. Good to visit with you again.